I want to bring Jason Buttrill in. He's our chief researcher and in charge of military intelligence for us. He was a military intelligence guy. I don't know how he got that job, but he's with us now. And Jason, I want to bring you in because didn't you think the tanker thing, when you came in this morning, didn't you tell me the big story is the tanker story? Can't hear him.
It's like a movie, Glenn. It really is.
The tanker story. You thought that was the biggest story.
Yes.
That's why he's not in charge of picking stories. And the one thing that I agree with is this story is like a movie. There were, I think it was 16 tankers in port in Venezuela or somewhere in the world that once Maduro fell, these tankers just fled like rats. The reason why they got past, many of them got past our military and the blockade is because there were 16 of them. And we just didn't have enough people to pursue all 16 of them. And so they've been chasing. But this one particular tanker, we got 2 of them yesterday. One of them was going towards Venezuela, but it was from Iran, wasn't it? Was it in Iran?
Yeah, it originated in Iran. It published its shipping path beforehand, so that was out. That information was out there. It had nothing on board, air quoted nothing on board. We don't even really know, but they don't think that it actually had oil or anything like that on board.
Okay, so wait a minute, hang on just a second. When you say air quoted, who's doing the air quotes?
I got theories.
Okay, all right, okay, all right, okay. So it's no official, it's Jason air quotes, nothing on it. Okay. And then go ahead and share this theory because I think that's a possibility.
Yeah, so I know how, and when I say it's just me, there's a lot of other like open source intelligence like accounts, organizations that are just wondering what the heck's going on because this is not how shadow shipping works. Now, shadow shipping is how you get around international sanctions. So if you're Venezuela and you're sanctioned and you need oil, or if you're Cuba or Russia or whatever, you use this system. So you get a really crappy oil tanker. It is rusted out. It sucks. They don't care what happens to it. So if it ends up getting interdicted and taken in the middle of the ocean, who cares?
Never lost anything.
It didn't lost anything. It doesn't matter. And if there's anything on it that you don't want there to be, caught or whatever, and it's not that valuable, you just throw it over the side, and who cares? You factor that into the loss. Mm-hmm. That is not how this situation played out, as per the norm. Now, this immediately the ship altered course. Russia said, "Hey, I'll take responsibility for this." Paint the flag, which I think is exactly what they did.
Yeah, they did. This is, by the way, if you're a flagship, if you're a Russian ship, when you're in port, you have to have the Russian flag. You're a Russian flagship. It is illegal against international maritime law to change flags once underway. You can't do that. And so this ship is underway, and they get into trouble with America. And they put out a call, and this is the strange part of this. They put out a call, and Russia says, you can flag it with a Russian flag. So they literally, on the side, somebody took, 3 colors of paint, shimmied down, the anchor chain, and painted the Russian flag while they were sailing, while they were out in the middle of the ocean, and painted the Russian flag on it. So when people say, we boarded a Russian ship, no, we didn't. Not in any way, shape, or form did we take a Russian ship.
Yeah, it's like almost backwards, right? Like it was a kind of a Russian ship that was hiding it, and then they painted it illegally on there.
Correct.
Which then they called it a Russian ship. So whatever they needed to serve their needs, that was what they're going to say. Right?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Okay, so go ahead and tell the rest of the story.
Oh, so the drama continues and the irregularities continue. So Russia sends out a submarine. Again, this is like painting repainting and reflagging the ship. That's straight out of Lord of War with Nicolas Cage. There's your movie there. Meanwhile, the Russian Navy goes into overdrive to try and get out there and protect the ship. That's Hunt for Red October. It's a script. It's a movie script being written.
Right.
So meanwhile, some of the other drama is the UK they stopped providing intel and any kind of corporation as far as these tankers go in the Caribbean, because they didn't know if their laws kind of jive with our laws, international shipping and everything. So they said, you guys are on your own doing that stuff. Well, they made an exception here. They said, and they made it very, very public, that they helped providing intelligence, whatever else we needed. They were like, go after that ship,
I think
and
you're
we
reading
will
too
help
much.
you.
I think you're reading too much in it. They're staying out of the Caribbean and Venezuela because, A, we have a blockade. Why get involved in something like that? We're not going to get involved. We're not going to share information or anything. We're not doing any of that. That's in the Caribbean. That's Venezuela. It was not in their waters, but it is in their protected or protection zone. It was in the North Atlantic, which was right off the coast, again, in international waters, but right off the coast of, I think, Scotland. And so, because I saw a British official say yesterday, no, it was absolutely the right thing for the United States to call us and ask us to be involved in this because it is in our part of the North Atlantic. That's part of our job, is to protect that part of the North Atlantic. But you don't buy into that.
Well, I mean, I think your theory could be correct. It could be how it just lines up with both countries' national security. So
It's
they
not
both
my
said,
theory.
okay,
That's
fine.
what the British government said. I mean, it could be wrong, but I don't want you to know it's not my theory. It's what they said.
So my counter would be, if this was just a normal shadow, sanctioned ship
Sure.
that happens every single day.
Yeah.
They don't make a public statement of this. They don't even get involved. They don't care because it happens every single day. But this seems to be the one exception. It just seems to be
what
the
is
one.
what is your theory that why is this bothering you?
So I guess I'm curious, and you can counter this. I think I know what your counter would be to this.
Come on, we played chess for a very long time. Go ahead, make your move.
My
Put your pawn there.
My opening move is that you don't do. So this must have had something on it. That it must have had something. Now, if it was just something inconsequential, you throw it over the side. It doesn't matter. Now, you don't just throw it over the side if there's personnel, because they're not just going to throw personnel over the side. These are despotic regimes, but they're going to respect that. They're also going to have, if they are these people that were on board, they would have specific knowledge of something. Now, if they did, they're not going to want us to know or have the capability, or not want to interrogate them to know exactly what their full intentions are. This is just a theory. It's some things throwing.
So why wouldn't the government? Because here's where I think your theory falls apart. By the way, you moved onto a space where my bishop is. So let me take this piece away. Why would the government not immediately release the information of what Iran was doing? A, it would only give us more power to collapse Iran faster. If they were sending, let's say, nuclear, scientists or terrorists in the hold of this ship, the world would be for us, and we would be able to say, see the connection between Iran and Russia? Look what they're doing against the United States. It would be a card that would be too big to hold. It's like Donald Trump was in the Epstein files. Why didn't they play that during the election? It would have taken him out. If they had that proof, they could have taken him out. Why wouldn't they?
Okay, so Glenn has made a incredibly risky chess move. So he's either checkmated me or I've checkmated him.
Okay.
So
Which is it?
You're exactly right. If we do not hear within the next, I would say 48 to 72 hours, I think we'll find out. So this game is not over, Glenn. We are still playing.
And you know what? And you could be right. If the reason why I'm pushing up against this is I don't want to be a broadcaster that's coming out with just theories without saying this is a theory and here's how we'll know. This is not an ongoing theory. You will know or you'll not know. And I think it's probably in the next 72 hours, 48 to 72 hours, because our motivation to expose this would be too big. However, if that's true, that theory is true, they would be debriefing all those people right now. They wouldn't just come out and say, hey, we found Bob in the hold along with Habib. We need to interrogate them, know exactly who they are, know exactly what the intent is. I do think it's weird that Russia would all of a sudden step up and say, that's our ship, we're sending a sub. That doesn't make sense unless, another theory, unless Russia wants to sell to at least its people and allies how evil the West and America is. Because, I hesitate to get into this. Maybe we should do this tomorrow or Monday. But there is this desire for war around the world. And it's coming, a lot of it's coming from NATO. And I told you yesterday, the way Donald Trump is just taking pieces off the board for China and Iran and Russia, it's going to put them into a corner. And, people become very dangerous when their back is in a corner. And I also think Europe wants war. I really do. When they're talking about putting 2,000 NATO troops on the ground in Ukraine if Putin doesn't take this deal, that's insanity. It's insanity. You want war? That's a great way to get war. But, we're not going to, I hope to God, we're not part of that. That's your decision. But I told you years ago that when you get to the point we're at right now, where everything is on the verge of collapse, that's when you're historically when wars are started. Most, if not all, wars are started by a miscalculation. I should say most wars are, because I don't believe World War I was a miscalculation. They miscalculated on how long and how many dead, but there was a group, the Fabian Socialists, they wanted that war to reset all of Europe. They thought they could reset the boundaries and the kingdoms and everything else, and they did. But their miscalculation was they thought it would be easy and over quickly. It didn't. It killed millions of people. And I think there are those in Europe that are feeling exactly the same way the Fabian Socialists felt in 1913. This won't be hard. We've got to control our population. Our population now is educated much more than they were 5 years ago. They're on to us. They know about this digital sovereignty crap, and they are not going to put up with it. How do we do it? We need a war. And that will reset everything. I hope that's wrong. And let me just say, you should bet that it is wrong, because it's betting on the worst of people. And I don't want to even admit that there are people who are hungry for war, but life has shown us there are. Putin wants to tell his own people that we're bad and make that case, that Europe is bad, England is bad, because they're going to go into war. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know the answer why Russia would claim that ship and send subs out and threaten to sink our military ships if we approach that ship. It was from Iran. It had a painted flag on it. They painted it, while after they launched. Makes no sense at all.
Thank you for thinking for yourself and being part of a movement, because that's really what all of this is. If you want the full story, you want to go deeper, go to blazetv.com/Glenn. Go there right now, sign up, no interruptions, just the truth, uncensored and unfiltered. Don't just watch, take a stand. And I'll see you over there in a minute.